of Big Pets Under the Hood. And today I'm going to bring up a topic that a lot of people, mostly everybody, know about, but I just want to touch on a few things of safety so that nobody gets hurt, and that when you are purchasing something or attempting to work on something, that you will do it the right way and you can understand it. You can actually go down to Home Depot or your neighborhood big box store for your home improvement things for breakers and stuff like that. You can do that, and it would just help you out. So, without any other thing, let's get started. I'm going to start with the basics, and then we're going to walk up and finish up with a finale. And thank you all for sticking around. I know it's been quite a while since I've posted anything because I've been working on so much stuff around the house and other projects abroad and things like that that I just haven't been able to. It just haven't been enough content to put all together. I'm working on getting me another GoPro and all that so we can get that done. But let's get started here. As you can see, this is my generator that I've had for quite some time. Now, I want you to understand something. This is a 5,500 watt generator. Yes, you do see the thing at the bottom, the discard that. I bought the generator from somebody else. But you do see the thing where it says 8,500 starting watts. But the most that it's ever gonna produce is 5,500 watts. And this is how they determine that. Most 5,500, most 5,000 watt generators are gonna have two things. They're gonna have at least 2 to 4 110, and as you see, what 110, 120 volts, and it's got 20 amps. Each one of these circuit breakers, each one of these circuit breakers is for one leg. This one is for this one. This one is for this one. Okay, so on your 220, which they got it marked 240, it's 30 amp. So what you have here is you have two 15 amp breakers. That's how you read that. It's two 15 amp breakers, or it may be two 20 amp breakers. That's 220. This is the ground side of the 220 here. So let's go down. When you're attempting to run something with your generator, if you have a power outage, yes, it will run your refrigerator. I've done that. It will run your TVs in the house. Each one of those power outlets will run anything that is not combined over 30 amps, 15 amps per side. So let's move on to the topic of the day. These are two compressors of mine. This one is they are both 60 gallon. Started out at 220, but I have 220 in my garage. I only got 110. And I bought this compressor. I bought just the tank, and you all can go to the playlist and see me building it. I bought just the tank. It came with this compressor here, but it didn't have a motor. So knowing that I didn't have 220, I only had 110 at my disposal in the garage, what I did was bought a dual purpose motor. You can see that this motor here, it can either be 110 or it could be 220. The way I wired it was 110. I wired it 110. So let me show you this. If you're gonna buy a compressor, or you go in this switch right here. This is your switch that controls the motor. It's you can adjust it, but some of them are preset. This is the difference between 110 when you look at it. The switch doesn't matter. You can use this switch for 110 You can use it for 220. It's the same switch as you see here. This switch here, which is wired 220, which means one thing. It has two hats. You white and the black of hats. You have a ground, and they're independently on each side of the switch. When you go over here to the 110, it's just the wire, the white and the black. It doesn't matter which way you wire them, and you'll have a ground. You're always going to have a ground. And coming in, you'll do the same thing. You'll wire the high, the low voltage and the low voltage on the bottom part. If you got white over here, you're gonna put white down there. You got black over here, you're gonna put black down there. That's 110. That's 110. And you know, this is the adjuster. Now it's just the opposite for 220. For 220, you can use the same power cord from the motor. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna need two hots. So what you're gonna do is that power cord that goes to the motor, you're gonna put one leg of it at the bottom part of the switch, one leg at the top part of the switch, and then because 220 has two 110 hots, you're gonna put a white hot here and the black hot there, and you'll have your ground. And that's how you can use the same switch on either compressor or appliance. Just remember, 220 means two hots. So you'll have two 15 or two 20 amp legs. On 110, it'll be low voltage. So you'll have one leg that would be a 20 amp. It could be a 20 amp or a 30 amp. But it would just be one breaker. They will control them both. Most people, when you see this cable right here, you know that this Romex cable here is more than likely. This is what they call hardwired. So if you were going to wire this, either one of these, you're going to wire either one of these here to a breaker box, then you would take this right here. You would attach this cable here, and you would go straight to a breaker box with a fuse. If you're going to do 110, you'd have a 20 amp fuse. If you're going to do 220, you would have either two 15 or two 20 amp breakers that would make the 220. But this cable here allows you the ability to use them both. What I'm doing on this one is I'm going to actually put a cable in it that I can plug it up to my generator. So this hardwire wouldn't work. I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store and I'm gonna have to get a 220 plug. Now don't confuse the plug that goes on your tubes as the same plug that goes on your dryer. It is a different type of plug. It is a different type of plug, and you have to buy the right one, because the one that goes on your appliance, it's a much bigger plug. It's a much bigger plug, and I'll show you that. The one that goes outside is a smaller plug, and it looks just like this. That's the hot, that's the ground. And as you can see, it's got two legs on it. It's got two legs on it. That's a much different plug from the plug that you have in the house. Now, this cord right here that I have, I got residential is single phase. So this plug right here, this in my house for the plug right here is in my house for the 110, which is over there, is a much different plug. This plug right here, this is a 220 plug right here. Now watch this. This is a 220 plug for a appliance. That's what this is. 220 plug for appliance. You see the way it is constructed. And some houses have what they call a ground automatic. Some houses have what they call an automatic ground. And so it'll be wired it'll have 4 wires on there. Could you use this plug here for your, could you use this plug here for your tube? Check it out. No, you can't. See there? So you can't use that plug. See how it doesn't go in there at all. There's no way that big plug can go in there. So you couldn't use it because it's a much different plug. And that's what I was sharing with you, that the plug for this 220 that's for a tube is not this plug here. This is a appliance only plug. So I hope that this video helps you all to understand that when you're doing something, you have things at home. A lot of people make the misconception of thinking that, hey, I can just use a regular plug. No, you have to go and get a specific plug when you're using tubes, because a welder, an air compressor, and things like that, they use different kind of plugins. Now, you could, if you were going to take this plug here and use it to run this compressor, what you would have to do is get the receptacle that goes in the wall, and you'd have to wire it as such to use this plug right here. That's how you could use this plug. As always, get out there and get something done, because if you start, you can finish. Thanks again for watching the video, and we'll get back on some more things a little later. As always, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.